Hello, here we are learning with Mr. Neff, and we are learning about graphing quadratic functions in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. In lesson 9.1, we looked at ax squared plus c. We didn't have the bx. What the bx does is causes a shift. So if I can scribble here on my little graph, all right, when in 9.1, it always ended up right in the middle. So we always had 0 as our middle x value, and we use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 pretty much every time. Now, when you throw in that bx, it's going to cause some sort of shift that will cause it to move left or right, and that's what we're going to make sure we know how to figure out today. All right. Okay, right here, beautiful drawings over here. The parabola is the name of the shape that it was formed, either a U if it's a positive x squared, or a n if it's negative x squared. Vertex is the highest or lowest point of the parabola. So the minimum is if the lowest point is down here at the first shape. You see that right there. The minimum would be at the bottom, and then the maximum is at the top. So you have a minimum or a maximum there. All right. Now there's one key idea that you really need to remember in this lesson here. I can't remember what it is. No, just kidding. Right here it is. Negative b over 2a. That's what you need to have stuck in your head as far as this, an axis of symmetry. This is what will help you determine the shift. So negative b over 2a. All right, so let's look at this first one. We're going to graph, and we need to know the 5x values that we're going to pick. So we need to know the middle, which means we need to know the axis of symmetry. How are we going to find that? Negative b over 2a, right. So negative b, remember b is 4 right here, the second thing, that's 4, right? And then the 1 is a over, right, so negative b over 2a we said, right? So negative 4 over 2 times 1. And what's that equal? It equals negative 2. So x equals negative 2. If you think of a line at negative 2, this is the middle of it. And so somewhere on this is going to be our parabola. All right. Now, if we plug that in, all right, negative 2, if we plug x in for negative 2, we'll find the y. All right, negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 10. We get a value of 6 for y. So negative 2, 6 is our vertex. So our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. That's just the line. And then the vertex is the point when we throw in that y value. That's our point. So at negative 2, 6, all right, is where that vertex is going to go. Now I'll be up here. A lot of these, the scale is going to have to change, all right, to make it fit. I'll let you worry about that more. I'm just showing you how to get the points, and you can change the scale and make it fit. So right here, we already established negative 2, 6 was one value. All right, and we're going to just plug in then 2 to the left and 2 to the right. That's all we did. Negative 2 is the middle, and that's what we just found. And now, when I plug in negative 4, negative 3, negative 1, and 0, I see those points. See how they mirror each other? That's why it's the axis of symmetry. Negative 2, 6 is the middle point. And then so you'll change your scale, you'll put your graph, and it'll be beautiful up here somewhere. I'll let you do that. That is not the important part of this lesson. It's getting those points. Now, one thing, I want to talk about domain and range. So I'm going to jump back here. Domain and range just means what a domain is all possible x values. So just to clear this up, if it asks for domain, x can be any number at all. We can pick any number for x. So x is all real numbers. That would be the domain. Now the range is different, all right? The range really has a minimum of at 6, and y, yes, the y is at 6. That's the farthest down it goes. So y is all real numbers greater than or equal to 6. So the range is all real numbers greater than or equal to 6. So I just want to point that out. That's what the domain and range is referring to if it asks for that somewhere. Okay, I'm going to do one more example. I have more, but I think I'm just going to do 2 at this point. So we need a graph. Again, we have that bx there. So what are we going to do to find it? Yep, yep, I hear you saying it, right? Negative b over 2a. So we're going to do negative. Now b is negative 12. Okay, so it's negative 12 over 2 times 3. So really that's 12 over 6, which equals 2. And x will equal 2. Again, that's the axis of symmetry. Now that axis shifts to the right 2, right here, somewhere along there is where our vertex is going to be. How do we find that? Well, we plug in 2 for x now into the original equation. And I got that right here already. So that's right here at the bottom. When you plug in 2, you get -8. So that is our vertex now. Again, axis of symmetry, x equals 2. Our vertex is -8 then. All right. So then we plug in values there. You see, hopefully I got right. Again, they mirror each other. They should mirror each other. Some people get it looks like an S. I just want to point this out. It looks like an S like that. And that's because they squared negatives wrong, usually, is what happens. Because a negative squared is a positive, and when they put in their calculus without parentheses, they get the wrong answer. So usually they'll get those two wrong and everything else right. So, but they should mirror each other. That's why I have 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom there. And those are my points that I would put on my graph to make the graph. Now this one again has a minimum. The minimum is a 2, -8. That's the vertex. So if we asked about domain and range, again, domain is all possible x values. This time the range is all y values greater than -8, because again, it would be at 2, -8. If I change my scale, my y's to go by 2s, that would be -8. And so it'd be something rough sketch. This marker and everything doesn't work great for that. It looks something like this. So my range would be everything greater than, y is greater than or equal to -8. All real numbers greater than or equal to -8, you could say. And then again, x is all real numbers. Okay, now I could give more examples, but I think you get the idea there. Obviously, if it has a negative x squared, like a -3 out front right here, it will open down, just to keep that in mind. But I think that is all we're going to have time for on learning with Mr. Neff today. Thanks. Have a great day.